Well, we're taking the Bronco up in some snow. Here we go. I'm pretty excited. I've had this Bronco in sand at the dunes. We've had it at the Bronco Off Rodeo, doing a little rock crawling and things like that. But going to take it out in a different area, up into some snow. First time up, and we'll see how this goes. I just put it in 4 high. We're kind of in and out of snow, so we'll keep going up into the mountains, and I'll keep you posted. Hopefully we don't get stuck. Wow, it didn't take long for us to hit pretty much all snow. I just have it in 4 high still. I haven't locked a front or rear diff, so we'll see how it goes. I just turned traction control off by hitting the traction control button, which was over there, and just didn't want it interfering with sliding and slick surfaces. Sometimes when you're slipping, traction control can, in severe conditions, isn't always a good thing, but in most conditions it's good to have on for sure. Bronco's doing awesome. We're about in, I would say, almost a foot of snow. I put it in 4 high. I turned traction control off, and I don't have my front or rear diff locked yet. We're going to save that for if we need it, but I'm just idling along here at 5 to 10, 15 miles per hour, and it just is doing great. Very impressed. I mean, I can cut out to where there's no tracks over here, and this just kind of keeps it rolling. Let's get off where all 4 wheels are off the tracks. Yeah, it just does great. Very impressed. Getting even deeper yet in the snow. We're up to at least a foot, I think more. We'll see how much further we can keep going. I haven't had to use the front or rear differential locked yet, so we'll see. Try to save those in case we really need them. Well, you know you're doing something right or stupid when there aren't many more tracks. I'm making fresh tracks now. I did go up a hill back there, and I had to lock my rear differential. I have not had to lock my front differential, so you can see the rear diff button is on and locked. So this is really deep and wet snow, but I haven't had to create a lot of wheel spin to keep growing. It just kind of keeps crawling through this stuff. Pretty amazing. I'm very, very impressed with the Bronco in the snow. I love how I can just crawl along through here at 10 miles per hour, and the Bronco doesn't mind at all. It feels very controlled, and I like that we're leaving some traction devices on the table. And like I said, we still haven't locked our front differential. Leaving a few things, that I can use as backup in case we do get stuck. Hate to use everything like front diff locked, rear diff locked, and then if you do get stuck, now you don't have any more genies to pull out of a hat. But this is doing amazingly well. It's hard to tell, but this is downhill. We've done some uphill. I haven't really had to use momentum to get runs at hills yet, so so far so good. This is a pretty good little hill climb here. We'll see how we do. It's getting deep. I'm going to give it a little throttle. Whoop, starting to slide. Trying to crawl up this. We'll see how we do. Oh man, it made it. Didn't even need momentum. I thought I did, and then I slowed down and it keeps getting traction. Okay, so it's very deep here. I did just have to put it in 4 low. I locked the front diff, and I'm able to crawl through here, so we may turn around soon because now I'm using all the goodies. It's hard to tell, but we are crawling up a hill, and it is very slick. The Bronco's just motoring along about 5 miles per hour. Okay, we got up that little hill climb. That actually made me sweat a little bit. So we're turning around now. The snow is about up to the running boards, and we haven't gotten stuck yet, but I'm running by myself today. So we're gonna turn it around. You can see the snow is up to the rear bumper, and it's definitely deep. See that track there? Actually, it's it's about up to the bumper. So definitely deep. And the Bronco's doing amazing. It's doing amazing. I can't even believe it. I kind of did a backup turn where I spun my wheels to the right and stayed on the throttle to spin the front end around, so I didn't have to go up in there deeper than I needed to. And it worked great. Very impressive machine. Very, very impressed. This is a Bronco Wild Track with a Sasquatch package. Everything's just like it came from the factory. One thing that's really nice is this really steps you through everything. So I was on 4 high and I got to a hill and I started to get stuck. And I realized I needed to lock my front differential. And I pushed this to lock it and it said, that is not selectable in this driving mode. So I knew I needed to be in 4 low. So all I did was I slipped this to neutral. And then I pushed 4 low. It went to 4 low. And then I went back here and I locked the front diff, put it back in drive, and I was able to just complete the obstacle, which was in this case just deep snow. So I like that in a situation where maybe I was, I won't say panicking, but a little bit stressed, the machine kind of stepped me through, you know, what I needed to do to get in the right traction mode to get up the hill. So pretty cool. And this is my first time having the Bronco in this deepest snow. I'm pulling out of that place where I turned around, and it does very well. It has really adequate ground clearance for what we're doing. I was making fresh tracks through here. These are my tracks now. I'm turning around, and it's done everything the way I would need it to do it. Wow, look at how deep that snow is. That's like up to the door jams. I mean, I'm gonna stop here so you guys can see this. This is crazy. Roll down the window. I mean, look at this. That snow is definitely, I know it's hard to tell, it's up past the running boards. Yeah, it's up to basically the door jams. So the fact that the Bronco can help me run through stuff like this without any trouble, that's surprising to me, honestly. All right, so let's head home. Okay, so I'm going downhill now, and so I'm actually going to put this back to 4 high. There it goes. To exit to 4 low, shift to neutral. See, that's what I'm talking about. It's telling me to exit 4 low, shift to neutral. So I'm going to put this in neutral. And then there it goes. Now it's in 4 high. So it's great that this thing really steps me through what to do. I should have known to go to neutral, but evidently I forgot. So there's that. Back to drive, and we can move forward again now in 4 high since we're kind of completed most of the crawling that we're going to do. We're going downhill. So it's really cool that it steps you through that. I mean, I'm sure I learned that at the Bronco Off Rodeo a year ago, but I've since forgotten, obviously. But it's nice that it steps you through what to do so you don't break something. So I have to admit, I really appreciate that. So you should always have somebody with you when you're out doing something like this. I have somebody, even though I didn't bring anybody with me today, I do have a fellow who was around today that if I got stuck, he was busy, he couldn't join us, then he could come yank me out. So I appreciate, it's nice to have friends like that. But if I were up in the middle of somewhere, nowhere, and I would be real hesitant to run up into the snow like this, because man, if you got stuck, it could be really miserable. I've had, years ago, I got stuck in a razor up in the snow on a snow drift and got high centered, and I had to dig out with my hands. I didn't have the appropriate toolkit, so I learned after that you don't do that. So anyway, all that's to say is don't let that happen to you. That's no fun. Going down a pretty steep decline here. I'm getting on the brakes, off the brakes a little bit. Don't want to create a skid. This is really steep, and the Bronco climbed up this. I couldn't believe it. This is where I had to go to 4 low was to get up this. I wish the video would show how steep it was, but it can't. Ooh, got caught in a rut there. And then here was something, I don't know what it was, but there's some kind of a rut here where I was digging. know why this is so hard to drive down, but man, it is. Oh, my anti-lock brake system, is it off? Traction control off. Oh man, it was sensing my wheel spinning, and it was locking up a wheel here and there to try to correct it. That was causing trouble. Make sure so there's my traction control. I push it, traction control's on, so it was off. So now it says traction control off. Okay. All right, so that's what was going on that downhill. It kept pulling me weird directions when it felt my wheels slipping. So traction control going downhill is in my opinion not good. So just remember to turn that off. It was off, but I think when I switched my driving modes and different things, it somehow got turned back on. Ooh, that was a big hole there. But yeah, this is amazing. So here we're going downhill again. We'll see if that's better. Yeah, that's better. And I'm in just normal mode. I mean, I'm sure you could put it in sport mode or something like that with this, but normal mode is perfect for what I'm doing. We're just crawling along here. We just want to get home safe and sound. So bring somebody with you. Oh, also, if you do get stuck in snow, moving forward, back up into your own tracks and then progress forward again. Just a little tip. It's doing much better with the downhill now that I turned off the traction control. I haven't had it do anything that caught me off guard. So make sure you turn your traction control off in the snow with this kind of slow speed driving. So now I'm back to 4 high, rear diff unlocked, front diff, when I say diff, that's differential, unlocked. Traction control still off, but I like that I have lots of little goodies to use, because for a while I was in just 4 high, and then I went to 4 high rear differential locked, and then for a while I went to 4 low with the rear and front differential locked on a little hill climb. So it's nice to have be able to push those hero buttons, as they call them, and they really are hero buttons, because when you're in a pinch, oh man, they will save you. And I have to admit, Ford's made it very easy. I mean, very, very, very easy to know how to operate these switches. So just a fun winter wonderland. The Bronco kind of is your transport to get up in the outdoors. Love it. Got a little hill climb here. I'm gonna lock the rear diff since I've needed that. So I'm just gonna come over here. I'm gonna stop for a second. So rear differential locked. It lights up. It also shows on here that it's locked. So we'll see how this goes. I might need 4 low with a front. The snow isn't very deep here. We should be okay. But there's a big overhang over there that we don't want to slide and go off, so we're not going to try to create a bunch of wheel spin on this. How are we doing? Okay, vehicle's just shifting down. Good. No, we're doing fine. Great. When I came down this, I was like, well, we'll see how it feels to go back up it. So far, so good. There's a lot more things that you can do to get traction that I didn't do today. You can air down. I left this at stock pressure. I think you could air these down, to 10 pounds or so, 10 to 15. You wouldn't want to throw it into a corner sideways, railing to put stress on the sidewall and the bead or the wheel. But just for crawling like this straight ahead, it would be fine. So there are other things you could do to get more traction than what I did today. I'm not an expert. I'm just trying out this Bronco in the snow and letting you know how it does. So many of you will probably have ideas and tips that I don't know and haven't thought of and talked about. So chime in. Maybe there's a different mode. Maybe Baja mode works well in the snow. Something to think about. So yeah, chime in. Let me know what you think. But the Bronco did really well. I mean, these deep ruts, these are from the Bronco today. These are our tracks, so it did awesome. A gnarly branch over there that I'm trying to avoid, and if I did. it'd be something to avoid the branch and then drive off the road into the ditch over there. It's deeper than it looks, but so gotta use some common sense up here. Can you imagine telling someone, well, I dodged the branch, so I saved the paint, but I had to get towed out. Got stuck. I don't think I'd get stuck there, but man, it is slick and wet. It's starting to thaw out up here a little bit, and it's kind of still a lot of snow, but it's starting to get kind of wet. It gets slick when it's like that. Pretty drive though in the snow. Bronco's doing a great job. 4 high now, rear diff locked, normal mode, traction control off. It's kind of what we're rolling with. Really been able to crawl through most of this, just very uneventful. It's not till it got really steep and that I really went to 4 low with the front diff locked for a very short period. I guess in summary, what I like about the Bronco is it's nice to drive a vehicle that's smarter than me for 4-wheel drive. That's probably not that hard, but anyway, it's nice to try something that can help sort this out when you're trying to figure out what you're supposed to be doing on different terrain. So could go up that direction, but we're basically heading home here. Okay, on our way back out. I have to admit this a little more relaxed now that I'm not worried about getting stuck, because I've already been through here. Odds of getting stuck are small unless I make an error. Whereas on the way up, we were getting deeper and deeper and deeper, and you know, you're not quite sure where the edge of that envelope is sometimes till you find it. But anyway, now rear diff's unlocked, we're in 4 high, front diff's unlocked, traction control still off, and we are just cruising along like nothing to it. Just cruising along at 10 miles per hour or so. So very impressed with the Bronco. Thanks for tuning in. I'll do an oil change on this in the near future, so I'll try to film that and other kind of Bronco and car related content. Feel free to like and subscribe. All right, have an awesome day, and seize the day. Just some final thoughts. If you weren't planning on going to the Bronco off-rodeo, I would go. It gets you familiar with your vehicle, and I've driven Razors off-road and Ford Raptor that I owned for half a decade. Actually, it was close to a decade, and between a Gen 1 and a Gen 2, but it just gets you familiar with the vehicle. So today I felt much more comfortable going because I already knew, okay, I got a rear diff locker, I got a front diff locker, and I kind of had used them, even though I hadn't used them since the course because I'm just driving around pavement around home. I still knew that they were there and how to push the buttons, and so go if you can. It's worth it, even if you're familiar with off-roading. I mean, I had Razors and things, but I don't know, every vehicle's a little different, so it's nice to know and learn how to use the Bronco. Bronco is a very capable vehicle. I'm definitely a fan of the Bronco off-road, but I'm also, as many of you know, I like Toyota vehicles. I daily drive a RAV4 instead of Toyota 4Runner, so I like Toyota products as well. They're very reliable and they just do what they're supposed to. But this Ford Bronco, for being a multi-purpose vehicle and one that can still haul the family but be a lot of fun, there's a fun factor there that you just can't deny. So that isn't there with all vehicles, and it's so capable off-road. To me, that's what the Bronco does well. It's comfortable, it's capable, and it does off-road very, very well. Just out of the box, out of the factory. I haven't done anything to this. I put some mud flaps on it and some rails, step rails, so I can get in and out of it a little easier. My kids can too, and that. But it's stock, and I'm going up here and foot and a half, in some cases 2 feet of snow, and it's doing fine. So that's pretty cool. Now here I am back on dry pavement again, and I put it back to 2-wheel drive just by pressing the 2 high button, and I turn my traction control back on by just pushing the traction control button.